3 billion human lives ended on August 29th, 1997. The survivors of the nuclear fire called the war Judgment Day. They lived only to face a new nightmare, the war against the machines. Hello everyone and welcome to a new installment of Rafa's Toy Studio, the place where I get to talk about those toys that everyone should check out. And today, we're going to talk about science fiction at its best, the ultimate killing machine, the Terminator. Now, besides comic books and professional wrestling, science fiction is one of those things that just makes me so happy and excited. And I mean, the Terminator franchise is post-apocalyptic, time travel paradox, robot holocaust, science fiction come to life. An American sci-fi action thriller film written and directed by James Cameron that really changed the scope of films with its revolutionary use of special effects at the time. And even, in 2008, the Terminator, it was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the American National Film Registry, and they deemed it culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. And this is true because even a lot of the famous lines like "Hasta la vista, baby," "I'll be back," "You've been terminated," "Come with me if you want to live," those are phrases that stick with us in the American subconscious and especially in pop culture. So today I get to talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger in this awesome role of a lifetime, the Terminator, the T-800, that cybernetic organism, living tissue over a metal endoskeleton. I've amassed a bunch of Terminator toys recently, just a couple years ago. I never really had some as a kid. I wanted some, but they were always really expensive, specifically with the NECA figures. So just recently, when I came across a little bit of money, I started picking them up because Hastings started providing with new versions of the toys, and especially with Terminator Genisys that came out a couple years ago, I think last year. It really changed the game. And so let's talk about the Terminator and all of his killing awesomeness. So to start off, I have the T-800 Terminator endoskeleton action figure by NECA and Reel Toys. This toy that I have here was a gift from my partner at the time. She knew I loved Terminator and she surprised me with this endoskeleton T-800 toy, which stands at about 7 inches. Came with the future machine gun accessory, which is kind of cool. And the detail is just incredible. It looks just like these terrible monsters that Skynet produced that destroyed the human race in the timeline. The only gripe that I have with this figure is that even though, it's very versatile and it has a lot of points of articulation, even from the toes to the legs to the hips, it all looks very mechanic. It feels very flimsy, and the flimsy feeling joints, they haven't broken yet, which is cool. But the way that it kind of feels in your hands, you can kind of tell that you don't need a machine press or molten hot lava to break this toy. But like I said, it's a really cool toy in the fact that it has a lot of likeness to the actual Terminator. And, from the iconic scene in the first movie when he comes after Kyle and Sarah, or even in the beginning of Terminator 2 when he steps on the human skull and just starts blowing things up. This Terminator is just great to have if you don't want the Arnold variety. But overall, really sweet. Here I have the NECA Robocop vs. Terminator 1993 video game Series 1 T-800 action figure. And this toy was inspired by the 1993 Robocop vs. Terminator video game. I really like this figure because he comes with a really awesome plasma rifle, as you can see here. I just gave him another random gun because he looks cooler holding 2 guns. But he has a cool retro game design with purple shades within the black leather. Looks very 16-bit. Which is really cool detail. I really like the purple and this bloody red that goes with the design. It doesn't necessarily look like the other NECA toys, but that's what I like about it. It's not as articulate. It doesn't really move as much. It can move his waist like this, but there's no real articulation in the feet or the legs. But that's fine because as a standing ominous figure, it's awesome, and he has a great likeness to the Terminator. Just looking at Arnold's face. The battle damage and just kind of like the sleekness of the red within the paint job makes it look really cool for a much more stylized battle damage design. And like I said, I picked up this toy at a Hastings a couple years ago because he was part of the video game and he was the only Terminator that I could find. And he looked just like Arnold to me, and I thought, even though he looks kind of retro gamey, that's fine. A cool point about the detail is he has bullet holes in his leather jacket, which is really cool. But this is the Terminator that you see just looking badass. Really, really cool. I love this toy. With the release of Terminator Genisys in 2015, I was really hyped because we got another Terminator film to be added to the franchise. Was never a big fan of Salvation, and kind of was excited for this new Terminator, bringing Arnold back, kind of seeing what we can do with the standard T-800. But at the same time, brought in some new faces like Daenerys, Emilia Clarke was in it, and that was a pretty cool thing to bring up. Overall, I really liked this reimagining, valiant effort that was very reminiscent of the first Terminator. Daenerys and Old Man Arnold coming together on these adventures with Kyle Reese, creating kind of a new plot line, something different but similar to the original, which I thought was really, really cool. And I mean, always developing that sweet Terminator softness and kindness that's deep within his metallic heart, which I thought was always a really cool part to his artificial intelligence. So when these figures came out, part of the Terminator Genisys line, I picked them up. There's two different Arnolds. The look for both of them, he looks a lot older, but which makes sense because he is an older model at this point, because the skin on the T-800 does age, apparently. But here I have the Terminator Genisys Guardian T-800 7-inch action figure, produced by NECA and Reel Toys. Both of these are produced by NECA and Reel Toys, which all of these for the most part are similar, with the same amount of detail, the articulation, just the shadows and the texture within the lines, the cargo pants or whatever you want to call it, each of them coming with different guns. But with this one in particular, he comes with the Remington shotgun, which is really cool, when he blows you away. And with this one over here, this is the Pop, Old Man Arnold version. Without giving away too many spoilers, who's very important to, the safety of Sarah Connor. So here you can see kind of the white lines and battle damage. Both these toys, have the same face mold. The difference is this being one more significantly older, this one being younger, and more battle damaged. This one comes with another arm, but I put in the battle damage part. That was so he seems more worn than he actually is. Same thing with the head, showcasing that endoskeleton beneath, which I thought was really cool. But the Pop figure comes with the M4 shotgun, and two interchangeable heads and an interchangeable battle damaged left arm, which is what I have on here. And like I said, Terminator Genisys was a valiant effort. They tried doing something new with the series, where I feel like they fell flat on their head for Rise of the Machines and Terminator Salvation. I felt this one, try to open a whole new way of looking at the Terminator series, opening it up for possible new iterations of the series in the future. I thought it was a good effort. I enjoyed the film, whether you want to call it a relic of the past or whatever. I thought it was a good attempt to try and recreate something new. But I mean, you'll always have the people that say, oh, there'll never be anything as good as Terminator or Terminator 2. And, I can agree with that, but that doesn't mean we can't try and we can't adjust to new things. But like I said, both of these toys are really cool. You can recreate a lot of the famous action scenes, having them go out and fight and take out people. But very, very highly detailed. They look just like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I think that's very important. And the creme de la creme. Look at these uncanny likenesses to both Robert Patrick and Arnold Schwarzenegger from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. These toys are beautiful. Like I said, back when they had the NECA figures for these toys when they first came out, I never picked those up as a kid. But like I said, now with the reemergence of these new, really cool packaging, might I add, of these Terminator 2 Judgment Day Ultimate T-1000 Terminator action figure and Ultimate T-800 Terminator action figure, both of these created from NECA and Reel Toys as well, both showcase those iconic looks that either scared the shit out of you as a kid, specifically with Robert Patrick and the T-1000, or Arnold Schwarzenegger in his bad to the bone, just iconic, give me your boots, your clothes, and your motorcycle. That's all that you really need. And both figures are just amazing. Whether you play with them or just kind of keep them there to look pretty, they're both wickedly awesome. What I really like about T-1000 is he really has a bunch of different parts. Like I said, uncanny likeness to the cool and calculating Robert Patrick. He's about 7 inches tall with almost 30 points of articulation, which is really crazy. He comes with 3 heads and a battle damage front shirt, like when he got shot. And this head I utilize a lot because it's the one where he's the most damaged, which I think is really cool with the hole in the head. I mean, it really showcases that mimetic polyalloy liquid metal, which made him so cool to begin with. He comes with 2 forearms, which are the blade arms when he kind of attacks, and at the same time, he comes with a couple different accessories and guns. Kind of taking this off is very simple. You just kind of grab it and pop it off like that, which is really, really sick. And, just finding the other piece, you just kind of put it on there, or kind of have Arnold, blast them away. Specifically with the T-800, he has that iconic bad to the bone that defined a generation. 3 interchangeable heads, regular, sunglasses, and battle damage. I tend to keep the sunglasses on just because he looks so cool. He comes with a minigun, an ammo bag, which is kind of holstered over his shoulder here, and then the Gatling gun as well as the mini grenade launcher. Again, really showcasing that strong I'm gonna kill you, or he'll live kind of mentality. Also detailed like some of the other figures with the bullet holes in that iconic scene within the actual industries where they go and take the arm in the T2. But like I said, these figures are beautiful. All of them, because they're made from NECA, are very, very articulate. They move. They're all very similar. I just happen to have a couple of different ones showcasing that difference. I mean, here we have the T200 Arnold. I mean, we have Genisys Arnold that looks older. An even older Arnold with the Pops Arnold going there. And then, of course, we have the video game Arnold just kind of hanging out. And then, of course, where will we have without endoskeleton? All of these different Arnold Schwarzeneggers, different Terminators, all willing to destroy you. And so that's my NECA Reel Toys Terminator T-800 Arnold Schwarzenegger and T-1000 Robert Patrick Terminator action figures. This movie I will forever love. I'll watch it again and again because it has all of the best elements of science fiction. It has killer robots, it has time travel. It introduced to me the grandfather paradox, which was really cool. And ultimately, I mean, it's not just sci-fi, it's action thriller. It's a blockbuster. People can watch explosions, but at the same time also deal with some of those harsher and more emotional elements of machine AI and the ability to learn to love or to destroy. All of these toys are fun to play with. The likeness is uncanny, and recreating certain scenes is limitless, and the possibilities are always there. Whether you think Terminator was the best film of all time or Terminator 2 was slightly better, whether you hated Rise of the Machines and Salvation, or want to give Terminator Genisys at least another shot, all of these movies add to the franchise in some specific way, and I think that's what's really important. We will always have these and always kind of have an idea of these culturally significant films because they are engraved in popular culture. And I mean, the stories you can create are always going to be endless. Always going to be endless. Because it's just a matter of time of what you want to build and kind of the different things that you can bring in. And we always want to keep that in mind. I mean, if a machine, a Terminator, can learn the value of human life, maybe we can too. But please, take them out of the box, enjoy them, and always remember to enjoy the plastic.